On today's show, we return to Willowbank Raceway on the outskirts of Brisbane for our continued coverage of the New Year Thunder as part of the 2019 2400 Thunder season. This week, it's all the methanol goodness with the sights and sounds of pro alcohol. And later in the show, we come along with Volkswagen and their attempt to build and race the fastest electric race car in the world, tackling Pikes Peak, the Nürburgring and Goodwood. It's the story of the Volkswagen IDR. Then we head over to the United States and to Reno and Nevada for round 3 of the 2018 AMA Endurocross Series. This is Speedweek.
Phillips has got some speed advantage, doesn't he? What? 5:42 beats a 5:56. Welcome to the New Year Thunder. You're at Willowbank Raceway at Ipswich in Queensland. And on the program today, we have the Pro Alcohol category. It's funny cars, it's altereds, it's dragsters when they want to come out and play. They all run supercharged engines burning methanol, methyl alcohol fuel. That's where the name comes from. This is round 2 of the 2019-2020 Championship. It all kicked off down at Sydney Dragway for the Atlantic Oil East Coast Thunder. Gary Phillips. Well, he got the big points lead there ahead of Stephen Reed. Jake Donnelly, the rookie, and Brett White, the local guy, did extremely well. Gary Phillips, is he headed for a 21st championship? If he is, this young man will have plenty to do with it.
Gary Phillips has been driving one of the most successful cars in the country, in fact in Australian drag racing history over the last 2 or 3 years, and one of the people responsible for tuning it is his son Shane Phillips. Shane's with us now. Mate, how much pressure do you feel as a young guy making some of the calls and making some of the tuning calls and being part of the brains trust on this car?
Outside pressure I don't have at all. The biggest pressure I have is the one I put on myself. It's always that strive for that perfection, where that little bit extra, a little 100th here, 100th there. So that's all internally driven, I guess. But as far as outside pressure, I don't really have it. Because I mean, I've got the best driver in the world. Mum and Dad and I, we do all the work at home, so by ourselves. So we know that all the preparation's all done in the shed. Everything's as perfect as it can be to come to the track, and then just from there, use, I guess, our database that we've got from so many runs that we've done over the years, and little bit of trial and error here and there, and try and make it win lights pop up.
You talk about all those years of racing. Your dad set the bar very, very high over the last 30 or 40 years. How much does that then translate to the success that you're seeing now?
It's a culmination of all that. Actually, this year is Dad's 50th year of racing. This weekend is the start of his 50th year, so it's been a long, hard road for him, but 21 championships later in 50 years, it's a pretty good striking rate.
Well, mate, best of luck for the rest of the season and the rest of racing today.
Yeah, thanks, Rossi. Appreciate it.
Yes, the Pro Alcohol category has been dominated by Gary Phillips, and let's have a look at the top ETs so far this season. Top 3, Gary Phillips. Then we got Stephen Reed, Gary Phillips. 5 of the top 10, all with the Phillips names beside it, Mark.
Stephen Reed up there as well a few times, and Jake Donnelly starting off his Pro Alcohol career pretty stellar as well, that 5:56.
Well, round 1 coming up. The New Year Thunder at Willowbank Raceway. We are in the late afternoon. The air has just started to cool down a bit from the midsummer heat, but the track temperature's right up there. We are in the 3-round all-run system, so all of these guys will come out and do 2 races scoring points. The top 2 point scorers go into the championship final, and the others come out to run for series points in round 3. So we're going to see them all 3 times, and it's a great pairing. First up, Wayne Price from Victoria in the Speed City Parts Network car, and Brett White. But I thought I saw something going on in the background there.
It looks like Brett White has lost power in the burnout. They're going to push him off the track. Wayne Price will have the solo pass if that is the case. It looks like sometimes they might not have reversed, but I think he has definitely lost power there. He's being pushed back there off the track there. Not what you want to see from the team currently. 4th in the championship, Brett White, not the way to start this weekend.
Yeah, particularly making the commitment to come up and run this round after they originally hadn't planned to, but after the good result in Sydney. Well, now it's Wayne Price. He's going to get 20 win points, but he'll be looking for a quick elapsed time to try and get some of the bonus points that are available for the ETs. Price comes out, looks nice and straight at this point. Clicks it off early and runs a 5.76, 377 kilometres an hour. So a nice first run from the Victorian-based team, but Rusty Gregory, that must be bitterly disappointing for Brett White and his Fine Line Motorsport team.
Absolutely, but I guess one of the benefits of the 3-round format, or the all-run format, is that we will see Brett White back for the 2nd and 3rd rounds a little bit later on this afternoon. I can tell you he's pretty dirty, he's pretty dark, depending on what happened down here. I don't know whether he's got any idea what happened or whether the car just cut out. Brett, mate, not what we wanted to see in the first round. Any idea what happened, mate?
Yeah, it's fine, the burnout, and put my foot on the clutch, grab the brake afterwards, slowing down, the thing just cut out. So it'll probably start in the pits like it always does, so who knows.
Yeah, tough one there for Brett White.
Well, Wayne Price, though, that looked pretty good over the first half of the racetrack, but Mark clicking a little bit early there. That's going to cost him some ET and could cost him some points.
Yeah, he definitely would have lost a couple hundreds there on the ET, buttoning it off early. Didn't look like there was any issues with the car, so don't know. Hopefully it was just him buttoning it off early to save some parts or something.
Well, Rob Ambrosi is about to take on Jake Donnelly. Ambrosi, right of screen there is Donnelly in this near new DBS Motorsport Camaro. He's the newcomer to the Pro Alcohol ranks. His first event just down at Sydney at the Atlantic Oil East Coast Thunder. And it was a really, really good debut for the team.
Yeah, semi-final finish for the rookie team in that first event. Right now he's 3rd in the championship. Rob Ambrosi on screen is currently 6th in the championship in this funny car backing up.
There's a bit of a story with both of these teams getting to this event. You look there at Jake Donnelly in the DBS Motorsport car. He flew across the Pacific, landed at Brisbane Airport at 10 o'clock this morning. Man, he has to be tired. And then you have a look in the other lane. The Ambrosi team, they drove up from Melbourne and had to go all sorts of which ways to get through the fires. So aren't even sure at this stage whether they're going to be able to get home. So 2 different ways of getting here, both of them putting a lot of stress on the driver when you're looking for a good reaction time.
Donnelly was dragging through the beams here. He doesn't go red, but he goes 000 on the reaction time for Jake Donnelly. Perfect, gets the win, goes 5.63 to a 5.72 for Rob Ambrosi. Jake Donnelly, I thought he was going to go red there on the start line, and look at Rob Ambrosi trying to pull that funny car up. He's hard on the brakes. It looks like the fire extinguisher has gone off inside the car. Look at it.
He's got it all happening. That is fire extinguisher going off for Rob Ambrosi. Both cars were going deep. Have a look at this on the replay. You picked it because Jake Donnelly's pre-stage light goes out. I swore he was going to drag through and end up with a red light, but instead he'll end up with the EP chassis and race cars light of the night. A perfect reaction time in round 1.
Oh, the fire bottles in Rob Ambrosi's car. They're going to have a bit of fun back in the pits, cleaning that all out of the cockpit of Rob Ambrosi. But Jake Donnelly gets the win. Rusty,
tell you what, things got a little bit hairy at the top end of the racetrack, just looking at the replay. Down here with Jason Donnelly. I'll tell you what he said when I said he went 000 on the tree. Jason goes, well, he'll have to sharpen up a bit then, won't he? Mate, sensational driving from the young bloke.
Yeah, he's done well, and hopefully get better and better every round. I've got to thank our team for getting this car together, because we only landed from the US at 10 o'clock this morning. So we've hopped here, jumped in the car, and that's his first round today. So
mate,
thank you to the team.
That's 2 round wins from 2 events so far, and you've still got another 2 rounds to go tonight. The young bloke is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience in the car. He's done a lot of laps in these cars and funny cars for his age. So yeah, he's experienced for a young guy.
He certainly is experienced, but most of it has come in either Supercharged Outlaws or the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car Series. But the switch across to Pro Alcohol has been seamless for Jake Donnelly. Now, there's no hint of rookie in this guy. We're talking about Stephen Reed, one of the original drivers of the Pro Comp class back in the day that has evolved into the current day Pro Alcohol. He's a 2-time Australian champion in the All-Star Battridge Funny Car, and he's going to be coming up against this man, John Canuli, for JTS Racing.
Yeah, John Canuli was very successful in some testing in the lead up to this event. The car got down the track. It was safe. It was quick. They're looking to improve right now. Probably looking to run in the 560, 550 zone for the John Canuli team. And they'll need that against Stephen Reed, because we saw early on with those statistics from Pro Alcohol, Stephen Reed had about 4 passes inside the quickest 10 passes so far this season.
Both drivers looking into the sun low in the afternoon sky here at Willowbank Raceway for the New Year Thunder. Reed closest to the screen.
It's a little bit
Revs
of a
come up. Nobody wants to stage yet.
Staging duel.
Reed is in. In comes Canuli. We talked about the dragging of the clutch, and that's what happened to Reed. He's red lit. Gets across the line with a great 570 at 412 kilometres an hour, but the win goes to John Canuli because a red light for Stephen Reed.
Yeah, guys, down here with Kirsten Canuli, John's wife. Look, the blow belt came off early, but you still got the win light. Not the way you want to win, but still, a win's a win.
A win's a win, mate. It's nice to see that car get down the racetrack. That damn blower belt keeps coming off, but we'll sort it for the next one and get it down there. Hopefully a 50 today.
There you go. There's the prediction.
Let's watch the Sunoco replay here. Stephen Reed, the revs were up for so long. They had that little bit of a staging duel. He would have been hard on that handbrake, trying to hold that funny car into stage. He couldn't do it this time around. Gets the red light. You can see the blowout on track with John Canuli on that side of the track. But yeah, it's so hard to keep these cars in stage. Once you build the revs up, the clutch is trying to grab Rob.
Red light means Canuli gets the win.
John Canuli, a round 1 win. Blow belt goes off at about 100 metres though.
Yeah, I know. It's not like the way we want to win, but a win's a win. We take it. Lucky Steve's been on holidays for the last couple of weeks, so he's got a bit of jet lag, so I got one back on him from last race. So, yeah, it's good to see. Hopefully tonight we'll keep going and get faster and faster.
Well, another round to see if we can go through to the finals.
We're going to try our best. Thanks very much.
Now you're looking at the only altered in the field. That is Greg Clayton, and he's coming up against the reigning champ and series leader in the funny car, Gary Phillips, of course.
Have a listen to this statistic right now, Rob. Semi-finals, East Coast Thunder event, 2018. That was the last time that Gary Phillips tasted defeat in Pro Alcohol.
It's not a bad winning streak.
All of 2019 wins. No losses at all in 2019.
Well, this is a new year. This is a new decade. This is his first race of the 2020s. And can Greg Clayton for the Elite Motor Company pull an upset here? Well, anything's possible. We just saw Steve Reed red light away his first round. Gary Phillips is the master, though.
And we've got another red light on the tree. This time it's Greg Clayton. Gary Phillips keeps the win streak alive, goes 564, 392 kilometres an hour. That's the second quickest pass we've seen this session so far. He gets the win and a bunch of championship points, Rusty.
Look, there's only one way to describe it, and that is dominant. I'm down here with Shane Phillips, Gary Phillips' son, and co-crew chief on the car. Mate, you guys have just been killing this thing over the last season, and the streak continues.
Yeah, try not to think about that, Rusty, but yeah, the car's doing its job, Dad, and the crew and everyone's just doing everything perfectly. So it makes, I guess, my side of things a little bit easier, but that's way off of what I wanted to. He looks like he got off the throttle about 3 times in top end from all those those bumps that are after half track, so I have to probably rethink that for the next round, but yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. But anyway, we've got to learn to live with it, I guess, but looked pretty strong early, trying to run the flat 50, high 40 something range, so yeah, we'll come back next round and the weather will cool off, which is great for all these fans. Thanks for turning up, guys. Happy New Year, everyone. So yeah, we'll go back, service it, and come back for the second round.
It sounds like a cliche when you say we're just taking it one round at a time, but that really is the mantra, and that's the way that we win championships, isn't it?
It is. That's exactly how you got to take it, because win lights are better than not. So you got to read what the track is willing to take and try and hit that every time.
Mate, you got to go and get your dad. Congratulations. We'll see you back for round 2.
Oh, you continue winning, Gary Phillips. You get yourself a round 1 win. How does it feel?
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty hard up there with the old sun. But, yeah, whatever. Good race with Greg. And I don't even know what it ran. But, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Well, good luck in round 2.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Here's the points after round 1. Jake Donnelly, 28 points. Gary Phillips, 27. Wayne Price, 24. John Canuli, 22. They're the 4 guys who've got the wins. Reed, Ambrosi, Clayton and White are going to have to step up in round 2. Well, I have to say that was a great drive by Greg Clayton in the altered. Well, the sun's going to set soon. The temperatures are going to cool off, but the racing is going to be white hot when we get into round 2. That is coming up straight after this break.
We came down here to the Pro Alcohol Funny Car pits of Rob Ambrosi so we could find out the steps it takes to drive one of these Pro Alcohol Funny Cars. Rob, take us through it.
Right, so what ends up happening, the guys have got me in the pits here, they're getting ready to prime the injector hat. I've got the brake on, foot out of the accelerator. So if you have a look at the accelerator pedal, there's an actual hook in there so you can actually pull your foot back. I take my foot out, so my crew chief, Steph, opens the injector hat up, and then they prime the injector hat with methanol. I've got the foot on a clutch. As soon as they close that injector hat, it's in my hands. I put my foot back in where the accelerator pedal is, just in case something goes wrong. And then what I end up doing is waiting. They go to me, right, foot's on the clutch, bang. They hit the starter, the car fires. As soon as it fires, it's in my control. When it's in my control, I've got to be very careful because we don't have a neutral in this car. What we do have is the first gear, it's always in first, and then we change second to third. As soon as that body goes down, and obviously my fuel's open like that, we go forward. Steph will bring me in straight into the burnout pad. The wheel speed is around 200 odd mile an hour. You've got to control that wheel speed so that you don't over rev the engine. Now I love doing a big burnout, and it gets a bit sideways and stuff like that. For me, I'm used to doing it. It can be daunting to some people, but when you get it to go sideways, the worst thing to do is get off it when it's sideways, because it'll grab the track and shoot you across the other side. So I just drive out of it. So once it comes to a stop, yeah, I just then come over here. I pull the levers out because the burnout's done in top gear. You don't start it in first or second, done in top. And I flick this lever over here. That puts me into reverse. Then bring me into the start line, right? Everything's right with the driver beside us, and he'll say to me, 3, that means pull these out, make sure you're in first gear because you don't want to take off in top. I grab the brake and I look at Steph, he'll bring me up to the start line. My foot's in the accelerator pedal, foot's on the clutch, it's in the forward motion. You don't want to be in reverse, you're in the forward motion. Clutch is in, and then I'll start to ride the clutch a little bit to bring me forward. I'll put one light on. As soon as I go to put one light on, I'm like that, like this, looking at the tree. I bring the RPM up till that shift light on the injector hat is solid, and then as soon as I see it, bang, I'm gone. once we go down the track, I'll go bang, go down, 10,000, smash, 10,000, smash, going down the track, moving like that, having a bit of fun. As soon as I see the finish line, like I can tell you where I'm on the track and that, I'll get up to about half track, going towards hiking up towards the finish line. What ends up happening then, we go through the finish line. On the body itself, there's a lever here, right? And that lever, as soon as I go through the traps, bang, I pull the lever for the parachutes, and I still stay with my foot flat buried into the floor. So I drive through the finish line on full power, but I let the parachutes blossom with me on full power. That sort of stops the car a bit from bouncing. And then I'll shut the fuel off, and if nothing's gone bang, a bit of a ooh, 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 and then go around, pull the buttons out, and hopefully you haven't done too much damage, get it ready and go and do it again.
There is not a more excitable man in drag racing than Rob Ambrosi, and great insight into what goes on inside the cars, because we've seen a couple of cars drag through the lights, and he talked about getting the revs up, riding the clutch, and just leaning on that brake handle. That's what it's about. As we move into round 2 of Pro Alcohol at the New Year Thunder, Willowbank Raceway is packed to the rafters with fans enjoying this round of the 400 Thunder Championship. Stephen Reed, well, he's got some amends to make.
And you know what, Rob? It is actually a rematch of round 1 with John Canurley against Stephen Reed. Canurley got the win in round 1. That was because of a red light in Stephen Reed's lane. And we spoke about it. It did drag through the beams. He brought on that red light. I don't see Stephen Reed doing that 2 passes in a row.
No, not at all. So the round 2 pairings are based on the points from round 1. And what happened is, while Stephen Reed didn't get the win points, he got 5 loose points, but he got a fair swag of ET bonus points. So it just the way it fell, he gets to run John Canurley again.
And in saying that Stephen Reed won't red light 2 passes in a row, I don't think John Canurley loses a supercharger belt 2 passes in a row either.
Well, he has been losing a few in testing, etc. There's Debbie Reed, former Pro Alcohol racer herself, finished 2nd in the championship one year. Oh, so close. But now, can Stephen Reed lay down a quick ET and try to put some sort of stake on maybe a miracle final later on? No red lights this time.
They're side by side.
Oh, Reed's got the bigger top end though, a 5:59, 411 kilometres an hour to Canurley's 5:99. That's a nice run by the All-Star Batteries team.
Sunoco replay here. Both funny cars left side by side. They were still side by side at quarter track. Half track, they're side by side. Canurley starts to bounce around. I wonder if there was an issue there.
Quite possibly, but either way, it is Stephen Reed that's got his revenge after his first round defeat. They are now 1-1. They wouldn't it be great if the points saw him run again in the 3rd round? Who knows?
Yeah, down here with Debbie Reed. That's a bit of a make-up for the first round where Steve pulled through the beams. Not what you wanted in the first round, but a 5:59. That's a great run.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be really happy with that. It was a lot better than the first round. John and Stephen keep going one for the other, so we'll see what happens next round.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're down here with Stephen Reed. And Steve, looks like there might be a couple of people with one win. This could be very interesting. You got a 5:59.
Yeah, 5:59 is about where we probably thought we were, but obviously always hoping for faster. So, but we're happy with that, and we'll see how it pans out and see who makes the final.
Well, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Rob Ambrosi coming forward with his Victorian-based Pro Alcohol funny car. He does like a long burnout.
He does. He's up against Wayne Price coming forward for Wayne Price Racing. And it's a short, sharp burnout for Wayne Price. We see Rob Ambrosi backing up here. Both these funny cars' personal best are in the 550 zone. They're going to need a bit of that if they want to pick up some bonus points and get a win here in round 2. We know Wayne Price has already got 1 win, so he's looking to get his 2nd win, but Ambrosi, a loss in the first round, looking to put a W on the board here.
Yeah, well, Price, we saw him shut his car off a little bit early in round 1, so he's got a bit left up his sleeve.
Yeah, definitely a 570 in the first round of racing. It was a solid first hit out for the team. They'll be looking to get quicker here in the cooler conditions in round 2.
There's inside Rob Ambrosi. He's got that brake, jammed it on. You'll hear these cars build the revs big time. Bring the revs up, ride that clutch to move it into the start line stage beams across the track.
It's a real critical moment right now for the teams as well. When they build that launch RPM up, it needs to be spot on to what they preset the car, because it's all based on the tune up, that launch RPM. As a driver, you want to hit it perfect.
Nice even start. Price a little bit out of the groove. It will be Ambrosi, 574, 402 kilometres an hour. Price shuts that off. But Rob Ambrosi, nice clean run, going a little bit deep in the braking area again.
Sunoco replay here. Now we've got 4 drivers with 1 win and 1 loss after round 2 so far. Midway through round 2, Wayne Price loses here. You can see him get out of the grid a little bit. Front on shot. Ambrosi was nice and straight, and Price looks like he shut it off early there. Ambrosi gets a win with a solid pass.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that woohoo again. He knows he's got the win.
Talking to Rob Ambrosi before this run, he said if we keep going down the racetrack, we keep making good runs, we'll get win lights. Monique Ambrosi, you got a win light.
Honestly, we are so stoked from that run. We would have hoped for a better number than a 574, but we've done really well. We've changed some things in the car, had a little bit of drama getting this car ready for this round, but we did it and we made this round and won. So thank you so much.
Awesome, congratulations. Go back and get your driver and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, surprise, surprise, Rob Ambrosi is the most excited pro alcohol driver, mate. You get yourself a round win, but you were so happy with that.
You know what? Look, it was a 74. It felt like it would run a 50 or something like that. I found it a bit hard to stop it down the bottom end, but car went well, took off like a rocket, as straight as an arrow. I'm so happy we've worked out our little bugs on where it was trying to steer itself and all that. It was a bloody fantastic run. So we just got to see what happens now. We're going to get after it. We've got something to work with. We'll give it a go and we'll run again and we'll see if we can do the same thing. But guess what? I won. How's that?
We always get a kiss.
Another bloody kiss. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Rob Ambrosi, you got to love him. Greg Clayton for Elite Motor Company in the Altered. Now, these cars aren't aerodynamic like a funny car, but they're allowed to be lighter, Mark, and that evens up the competition.
Yeah, that's the parity of pro alcohol. So that some of the funny cars have got the bigger engine. They're a little bit heavier than the Altereds. The Altered doesn't have the aerodynamics that you spoke about. The Dragsters have got a bit of a smaller engine combination, but they're a little bit lighter. So we've got all those parity rules in there, trying to keep the cars as close and as quick as possible to each other.
Greg Clayton, Brisbane-based team.
Greg Clayton's got the potential here. I'm going to talk about potential to run into the 550 zone. This Altered could run under the national record. I think this team is definitely one to watch when it comes to the Pro Alcohol Altered ranks. The current national record for the Pro Alcohol Altered is a 566. He's run into the 560s. I think we've seen him run quicker than that, but he had a malfunction where he launched before the timers were activated at the Winter Nationals last year.
Oh, he's a bit stiff though, isn't he, when he runs up against Gary Phillips, the 20-time champs, 2 in a row.
It is. You're right. There's another rematch here. Gary Phillips in the lane beside him. The streak is happening right there over in that side. Can Greg Clayton stop it right now? We're about to find out.
Man, they rev those things high. Phillips off the throttle early and runs a 555, 400 kilometres an hour. Greg Clayton, he had the wheels in the air, got a bit of bounce going in the Altered.
That's a low ET of the event so far for Gary Phillips here. Both cars were heading towards the centre line, but Phillips had the power. Look at the wheels come up on Greg Clayton's Altered here. Just watching the front end shot to the right of screen. Greg Clayton's wheels come up and down, but it's going to be a win for Gary Phillips. The streak continues with Gary.
Yeah, Gary's down here, mate. You got yourself 2 wins and a 55. That's pretty good in the conditions tonight.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's pretty hard to burn water, but we're trying, for Speed Flow, Lumen Lighting, Alpine Fresh, and Shane, like as usual, he's on the money. And how good's the crowd? How good's the weather now? It's hot in there, mate. I need to lose some weight, but
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll be trying. Thanks so much.
Well, Gary Phillips has got 2 wins from 2 starts. He is into the final. Jake Donnelly, he won in round 1. Brett White didn't front in round 1. Jake Donnelly wins this, he goes to the final. Brett White wins this, we get the calculator out, the abacus, take our shoes off, count fingers and toes, and then we'll find out who it will be to face Gary Phillips. But you have to say that young Jake Donnelly for DBS Motorsport, he has been really, really impressive since climbing into this car.
And he also had the low ET of the first round of racing, taking maximum points out of that round of racing. If he wants to do that again this round, he needs to go quicker than a 5:55 with Gary Phillips. And if he did that, that would be a PB for the team, since their PB right now is a 5:56, which they ran at Sydney Dragway. Now we know Donnelly had some issues staging the car in that first round of racing. Brett White here on screen in the funny car, he had major issues and didn't get down the track at all. It stalled after the burnout. They've gone one step further. They're about to go into stage here.
Did you notice at the end of the burnout that he just gave it another little blip of the throttle to make sure it kept running? Well, Megan White just keeping the butterflies lubricated so they don't seize and literally freeze, because the intake is so cold with that methyl alcohol fuel. Donnelly's creeping again. Oh, he went so close again to being dragged through. Got loose at half track, but he'll come up with a strong win. 562 at 388. Brett White 581, 399 kilometres an hour. But that was close again for Jake Donnelly.
Let's look at the replay here. Jake Donnelly, that was moving around as well. The bottom end, he had to pedal that car at the finish line. This front-end shot's going to be great. And it's absolutely menacing, this funny car of Jake Donnelly. What a drive job, Rusty.
Yeah, guys, down here with Jason Donnelly. Mate, you talk about drive it like you stole it. He had that thing left, right, up, down, all over the place, but he got the win line.
He wasn't taking no for an answer there, so yeah, he got it down there very well. So yeah, very good, very.
Looked like he was still struggling to hold it a little bit on the start line. It was still creeping. He still rolled in deep.
Yeah, it's rolled the beams twice on us now, so we'll have to have a look at that when we get back to the pit. So see how we go.
Well, mate, it's been a good night so far. Fingers crossed.
2 from 2, we're going all right. Thank you.
You were going through to the final in your rookie season against the man, Gary Phillips.
Yeah, well, hey, he's always going to be tough to beat, but if we can give him a shake-up, let's see what we can do.
You seem to be having dramas holding that car on the line as the clutch is just trying to push it forward?
It's probably a bit of my driving. I'm probably a little bit rusty, still learning a bit, but hey, we'll get around to it. And say, do what I do with the rest of me life, just wing it.
Can't wait to see you in the final.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
What a great job by young Jake Donnelly. He is going to take on Gary Phillips in that final. They are the only 2 drivers to have 2 wins from 2 starts. Stephen Reed's grabbed a great pile of bonus points to be 3rd on the ladder. Rob Ambrosi, Wayne Price, John Canurley, Greg Clayton and Brett White, they will all be back when we get to round 2 of Pro Alcohol at the Willowbank's New Year Thunder. The crowd are absolutely into this. Don't miss it. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Willowbank Raceway. We're at the New Year's Thunder. It's Pro Alcohol on the card as we move into round 3 of competition. All the cars come back, but the top 2 point scorers, they get to fight for the championship trophy and the biggest swag of series points. Greg Clayton, he's on screen, and this Elite Motor Company car has just been so impressive.
Brett White on screen came into this event 4th in the championship. Round 1, they had a little bit of a fuel surge in the burnout, which stalled the engine. Round 2, they run a great 580 past. round 3. They haven't got a win on the board. They need a win right now because championship-wise, they don't want to drop down the ladder too far.
Yeah, Greg Clayton in the altered, he also hasn't got a win light yet, but he's won a lot of fans with the way this... he's been muscling this car down the racetrack, and it's getting into power wheel stands and all sorts of things that the crowd just absolutely love. Brett White, the Fine Line Motorsport team, just a, well, privateer family team. Don't have a sponsor on the side. Obviously got plenty of room for one, but they run a limited program normally. We normally only see them up at Willowbank Raceway for the Gulf West All Winter Nationals, but they made the commitment to come up for this event, and it'll be, I think, great to see them with some reward, but this won't be an easy race. Both guys pretty similar in performance.
I was about to say the same thing, Rob. Very similar performance-wise, both still learning the trade of their car.
Oh, both cars in a little bit of trouble this time, but Brett White got further down the racetrack. Sheets come out. He'll end up with some win points. 768, just 176 kilometres an hour. Greg Clayton, that car launched and was not settled at any stage.
Yeah, let's look at the Sunoco replay here. We'll have a look at the alternate of Greg Clayton. Launches well, gets out strong, wheel speed's good, a little bit of tyre shake there. And that's the issue, a bit of shake, which he's buttoned off. He didn't bother getting back on the throttle. The front end shot, Brett White got a little bit further out before he had issues. He pedalled it, got back in the throttle. He gets a win in round 3 and some bonus points right here.
Yeah, down here with Megan White, Brett's wife. You get a round win, that's good for the championship. I think that'll still keep you in the top 5. So it hasn't been a bad day, all things considered.
No, it hasn't been a waste of time, so it's been good.
That was a big breath. It sounds like today's really tested your patience.
Oh, it's been hot, not as hot as Sydney, but it's just been a long, drawn-out day. It's been good.
Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank our crew, our sponsors, everyone that came out today, the heat, all the track guys did a great job today, and all the competitors.
Awesome. We'll see you at the next round of the championship.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Brett White, it's been a hard day in the office today, but Carlos got you down there. Good old faithful Carlos.
Yeah, it's given us hell all day. First run, I don't know, just decided I wanted to shut off, so I pulled the choke out on the next one and kept it going. So that run was interesting. We'd made some changes in a reactor, and it was really, really good, and it launched hard, but the old chin strap let go, and my head was, I couldn't see. I was looking inside the body there, so I thought, I'm taking it home in one piece. So, well, we've learned some stuff up here, and we'll be back at the winners. So I've just got to say hello to my mum and dad. They're at home watching OVO. Dad's had his knee done, and mum's battling a few things, and my sisters, hey, my nephews, we gave it a shot, thanks to Speed Solutions, Horvat, Wayne Newby's helped us out a whole bunch, and Gary Phillips helped us out with some parts this weekend. So, hey, my crew's awesome. We'll be back.
Good luck in the next round of championship racing.
Thanks, mate. We'll be back.
Well, I did mention it was a family racing team, and I think you got the whole family in there. John Canurley for JTS, and he's going to be happy that he's racing Wayne Price because he doesn't get to run up against Steve Reed this time.
I would have liked to see him race again for third, just to split it so he gets the win. Anyways, here we are, round 3 racing, Wayne Price against John Canurley. You could probably look at both these teams in the last 12 to 18 months. The performances, the results, probably really not an indication of what they could possibly produce, probably been down on what they would have expected. Both sides of the racetrack, we know John Canurley he's the quickest funny car in Australia. He's got the national record of 5:35. We've seen Wayne Price run to the very, very low 550s, but he hasn't been there for a little while. Only takes one pass to get back there, though.
Oh, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And this is one of the real tough classes, because once you get up into the professional categories of 400 Thunder Championship drag racing, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of talent, and it takes a lot of work. Looks like there's some concern around the Wayne Price car, though.
Oh, he's moving forward, so we did see him looking under the car there, maybe looking for some fluid or anything like that, but it looks like it's all A-OK. The starters are there, and well, we can see a signal that it's a solo pass from the starter. Royce, the Willowbank start line official, just gave the Canurley team that it is a solo pass, so I'm not too sure what's happened to Wayne Price here, but John Canurley will get the freebie.
There is some fluid on the ground behind the Price car, so that's the story. John Canurley will get a free ride in this round 3 race. Oh, takes it to half track. 578. A lot of smoke out of there. A lot of flame.
Oh, that's not usually a good sign. There's a lot of flame out of that car of John Canurley's. It got to half track really quick, 3.62 seconds. That's easily the quickest pass we'd seen from that team this weekend to half track. Might have to look at the Sunoco replay here of John Canurley. Got out strong, wheels up, nice and straight, shifted through, got to half track well, and then we can see the smoke there. Front on will be the better angle here.
I'm just trying to have a look at the smoke, where it's coming from.
Definitely out of the pipes. They're all getting into the pipes. They're burning up.
Yeah, so maybe if he's lucky, it's just an oil issue or something, but...
That flame, though.
Too hard to tell from here.
Yeah, John Canurley, well, mate, it's probably not the way you wanted to end. Looks like a few parts burning up inside that engine.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but the thing was on song to half track. Like, the thing's fast. We've finally got our fast half tracks going. We've got some issues. I don't know what's happened to it, but we'll fix it up and get it ready for Easter, and we'll come back out and see how it goes.
We can't wait to see you in the next round of racing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, for a totally new combination, they've done pretty well, I think.
Definitely one to watch that Easter event for the next round of Pro Alcohol. Next pairing up, though, Stephen Reid to take on Rob Ambrosi. This is a really good race.
Yeah, this is, because Rob Ambrosi, Mr. Excitable in the black and gold car from Victoria for the Ambrosi family, and of course Stephen Reid for All Star Batteries, reversing up after the burnout. He is desperate to get another win, pick up another 20 championship points to try and stay in touch, because that first round loss has really hurt him on the points table.
You are definitely correct there. That first round loss with the red light, it could have been an interesting thing in round 3 if that hadn't happened for this team.
Still going to be tough, I think, when you look at the ETs of Gary Phillips and of Jake Donnelly. Yes. Whether Steve would have made the final or not, well, we'll never really know.
You can't help but smile when Rob Ambrosi is on the track.
If you go past
it's infectious.
Yeah, when you go past his pits, they've now got new banners that say, Ambrosi, it's a father-daughter thing. Which is great, because obviously Monique heavily involved. She's not just a backup girl, she is an integral part of that crew, and you'll never see her without oil on her hands and grease under her fingernails. Round 3 of Pro Alcohol. It's the New Year Thunder at Willowbank Raceway. Reid v Ambrosi.
All shot to Stephen Reid.
Top speed to Stephen Reid. The win light to Stephen Reid. 5:52, 413 kilometres an hour. A 5:72 at 4:01 k's for Rob Ambrosi. There's not so many yeehaws in the car this time.
Both teams leaving their best for last here, running their quickest passes of the day. Stephen Reid were on board here. Look how close he gets to that wall, 400 kilometres an hour here at Willowbank Raceway. He gets a win in round 3, picks up the bonus points here, some win points.
Oh, it made a big move out towards the fence.
It was a big move towards the fence there. It would have felt nice and close there at 400k an hour for Stephen Reid. Daniel Reid on the start line with Rusty.
Other than that first round, this has been a pretty good day for Steve Reid. Down here with Daniel Reid, his son. Mate, 5:52, not a bad way to finish the night.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it should have been earlier in the day that we got there, but yeah, we just seem to be that 1 or 2 steps behind where we should be. And but yeah, it's good. We got some good data then. It was good. It was good to be in a position where we could actually try something for a change. You know, normally we're racing. It's like just to go for the win. We went for something then, and yeah, see what we learned.
Easy with us.
Well, Stephen Reid, not a bad way to end the weekend. Round 1 wasn't so good for you, but a couple of 550s to back that up in 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, pretty happy with that. We came third, I guess, so yeah, it's all good. So would have liked to have gone a little bit faster, but the conditions are a bit hot, so I think we're pretty satisfied with that.
We'll be pretty happy going to the next round of racing.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to Easter.
And of course, you've got to chase down Gary Phillips.
Yeah, I have to. So he's been a thorn in their side, but we're coming to get him soon.
Well, don't worry, everyone's got to chase him down. Good luck.
Exactly. Good on you. Thanks very much.
We are heading into the final now. This is it. Pro Alcohol at the New Year Thunder. Can the winning streak continue? Undefeated in 2019, so far undefeated in 2020. But if there's somebody that can take it to him tonight, I reckon it's probably Jake Donnelly.
Jake Donnelly right now is in his 5th round of racing ever in Pro Alcohol. The least experienced driver in the field, taking on the most experienced driver in Gary Phillips. I don't know how many rounds of racing Gary Phillips has done. It'd be in the tens of thousands. All that experience here up against Jake Donnelly.
Well, you can look at it this way for Jake. He's only ever been beaten once.
That's right. He's 3 wins and 1 loss so far in the DBS Motorsport Funny Car. Can he go 4 wins and 1 loss here against Gary Phillips? Stop the streak. The streak of Gary Phillips. He's up to about 16 consecutive rounds of racing in a row. He's won 5 events in a row. It's just an incredible streak at the moment for Gary Phillips.
Yeah, over there I was just looking at Luke Marsden with the Donnelly Blasting Services car, and he has done a great job with his input into this. Runs his own Pro Alcohol Funny Car at times, and of course a former Australian champion in the Supercharged Outlaws class, and it really does have this DBS Motorsport car and songs. But have they got enough in the tank to take on Gary Phillips?
You got to get in, Jakey. Only have 7 seconds. He's in.
Oh, what's going on here? Both had trouble off the line, but it's the old stager with the experience. Gary Phillips was able to recover first and wins the slowest race of the day.
I thought Jake Donnelly was going to get timed out there in the final, because in the professional classes, once a car is in full stage, you only have 7 seconds to get into full stage yourself from pre-stage. And I thought Jake Donnelly was going to get timed out, but he didn't. Gary Phillips went up into spin. Donnelly shook as well. But Phillips keeps this incredible run going in Pro Alcohol.
Yeah, guys, down here with Shane Phillips. And, mate, Donnelly over in the other lane, he played the game. He wasn't intimidated, but the old fella got the win. That's experience for you.
Yeah, that's it. Proves exactly why he's the best driver in the world. He still cut a 67 lights, so don't know why he did that, but I think we found our ignition glitch we've had all day and finally got all our power back. So hopefully still overstepped it a little bit, but got the win and 1 point from perfection this weekend, so it was a pretty good day.
And it's more championship points, and that's the main thing for you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks again to all our sponsors, Alpine Fresh Refrigerated Transport, Lumen Lighting, Speed Flow, everyone else that's involved in our crew. Couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, Pro Alcohol winner for the New Year's Sunday is Gary Phillips. Mate, you got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, of course I have, mate. This is hard work, I tell you. Hey, you know, good old Jake for the in the final. Like, you know, someone said, oh, the old bull, the young bull. Well, you know, how that story worked out. But, hey, for everyone, you know, Alpine Fresh, Lumen Lighting, Speed Flow, Steve, Deb, Shane, Al, yeah, all that, yeah, see, name tags, mate. Hey, it's really good weekend. Yeah, another goal one that's... Hey, we were trying, mate. It was there, and that last one there, I'm going, come on, baby, let's know. Yeah.
Well, 6 on the trot now. Let's see how many more you can get in a row.
Oh, is that right? 6? Oh, okay. Well, who's counting? But yeah, we'll take this one. Hey, the crowd's fantastic. Good on you. Thanks so much, Willowbank people, for coming. Everyone, that was really, really good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Gary Phillips now has a massive lead on the 400 Thunder official merchandise scoreboard. He is ahead of Jake Donnelly and Stephen Reed, fighting out the other 2 steps on the podium. There's only 19 points separating the next 4. Brett White, John Canurley, Rob Ambrosi and Wayne Price. Pro Alcohol is absolutely alive and well in 400 Thunder Championship drag racing. The next time we're going to see this category is at the Santos Super Thunder, Willowbank Raceway on Good Friday, 10th of April. It's the Easter Classic. Not only Pro Alcohol, but Top Fuel, Pro Slammer, Top Bike, and a big range of sportsman categories to boot. It is a fantastic one-day event. Then it's back to Sydney Dragway for the Nitro Thunder. And what we're talking about is all the categories. Top Fuel, Pro Alcohol, Pro Slammer, Pro Stock, Pro Bike, Top Bike, and the Sportsman. But we're not finished with the New Year Thunder yet, because next time on 400 Thunder TV, we've got all the action of Diamond T Custom Toolboxes Pro Stock. We've got Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle. And we've got some sportsman action. Make sure you join us then. But of course, what it's been all about today is this amazing dominance of the pro alcohol category by Gary Phillips. Bigger lead in the championship and just one more gold Christmas tree to add to his forest.
Coming up after the break, we bring you the behind-the-scenes story of the Volkswagen IDR and Volkswagen's attempt to build and race the fastest electric race car in the world.